Hammett was also an investor. I don't believe he became personally involved with Cicely until some years later. And this triangle, Angelini, Towers, Hammett, was that amicable too? It seems so. Idly, he tapped a tile. When it flipped open to reveal the hidden panel, he programmed in music, something low and weepy. If you're worried about my end of it, it was business, and successful business at that. How much smuggling does Mercury do? His grin flashed. Really, Lieutenant? Water lapped as she sat forward. Don't play games with me, Rourke. Eve, it's my fondest wish to do just that. She gritted her teeth, kicked at the hand that was sneaking up her leg. Cicely Towers had a rep for being a no-nonsense prosecutor, dedicated, clean as they come. If she'd discovered any of Mercury's dealings skirted the law, she'd have gone after you with a vengeance. So, she discovered my perfidy, and I had her lured to a dangerous neighborhood and ordered her throat cut. His eyes were level and entirely too bland. Is that what you think, Lieutenant? No, damn it, you know it's not, but others might, he finished, which would put you in a delicate position. I'm not worried about that. At the moment, she was worried only about him. Rourke, I need to know. I need you to tell me if there's anything at all that might involve you in the investigation. And if there is? She went cold inside. I'll have to turn it over to someone else. Haven't we been through this before? It's not like the de Blas case, not anything like that. You're not a suspect. When he cocked a brow, she struggled to put reason rather than irritation in her voice. Why was everything so complicated when it touched on Rourke? I don't think you had anything to do with Cicely Towers' murder. Is that simple enough? You haven't finished the thought. All right, I'm a cop. There are questions I have to ask. I have to ask them of you, of anyone who's even remotely connected to the victim. I can't change that. How much do you trust me? This has nothing to do with trusting you. That doesn't answer the question. His eyes went cool, remote, and she knew she'd taken the wrong step. If you don't trust me by now, believe in me, then we have nothing but some rather intriguing sex. You're twisting this around. She was fighting to stay calm because he was scaring her. I'm not accusing you of anything. If I had come into this case without knowing you or caring about you, I would have put you on the list on principle. But I do know you, and that's not what this is about. Hell! She closed her eyes and rubbed wet hands over her face. It was miserable for her to try to explain her feelings. I'm trying to get answers that will help to keep you as far out of it as I can because I do care. And I can't stop trying to think of ways I can use you because of your connection with Towers. And your connections, period. It's hard for me to do both. It shouldn't have been so hard to simply say it, he murmured, then shook his head. Mercury is completely legitimate. Now, because there's no need for it to be otherwise. It runs well, makes an acceptable profit. And though you might think I'm arrogant enough to engage in criminal acts with a prosecuting attorney on my board of directors, you should know I'm not stupid enough to do so. Because she believed him, the tightness that she'd carried in her chest for hours broke apart. All right. There will still be questions, she told him, and the media has already made the connection. I know. I'm sorry for it. How difficult are they making it for you? They haven't even started. In one of her rare shows of easy affection, she reached for his hand, squeezed it. I'm sorry, too. Looks like we're in for another one. I can help. He slid forward so that he could bring their joined hands to his lips. When she smiled, he knew she was, finally, ready to relax. It isn't necessary for you to keep me out of everything. I can handle that myself. And there's no need to feel guilty or uncomfortable for considering that I could be useful to you in the investigation. I'll let you know when I figure out how you might be. This time she only arched her brows when his free hand snaked up her thigh. If you try to pull that off in here, we're going to need diving equipment. He levered himself to her, over her, so that water sloshed dangerously at the lip of the ledge. "Oh, I think we can manage just fine on our own." And he covered her grinning mouth with his to prove it. Late in the night, when she slept beside him, Rourke lay awake watching the stars whirl through the sky window over the bed. Worry he hadn't let her see was in his eyes now. Their fates had intertwined, personally, professionally. It was murder that had brought them together, and murder that would continue to poke fingers into their lives. The woman beside him defended the dead, as Cicely Towers had often done, he thought, and wondered if that representation is what had cost her own life. He made it a point not to worry too much or too often about how Eve made her living. Her career defined her. He was very much aware of that. Both of them had made themselves, remade themselves, from the little or nothing they had been. He was a man who bought and sold, who controlled, and who enjoyed the power of it, and the profit. But it occurred to him that there were pockets of his business that would cause her trouble if the shadows came to light. It was perfectly true that Mercury was clean, but it hadn't always been true. He had other holdings, other interests that dealt in the gray areas. He had grown up in the darker portions of those gray areas, after all. He had a knack for them. Smuggling, both terrestrial and interstellar, was a profitable and entertaining business. The truly excellent wines of Taurus V, the stunning blue diamonds mined in the caves of Ruffini, the precious transparent porcelain manufactured in the arts colony of Mars. True, he no longer had to bypass the law to live, and live well, but old habits die hard. The problem remained. What if he hadn't yet converted Mercury into a legitimate operation? What he saw as a harmless business diversion would have weighed on Eve like a stone. Added to that was the humbling fact that despite what they had begun to build together, she was far from sure of him. She murmured something, shifted. Even in sleep, he mused, she hesitated before turning to him. He was having a very difficult time with that. Changes were going to be necessary soon for both of them. For the moment, he would deal with what he could control. It would be very simple for him to make a few calls and ask a few questions relating to Cicely Towers. It would be less simple and take a bit more time to convert all of those gray areas of his concerns into the light.